And we are live on the Icecast Live. My name is Shane Chebsey, and next to me is the ever lovable Mr. Ollie McMonee. How you doing, Ollie?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you, Shane?
I'm pretty good, actually.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
It's good to be back, and well, after
On a regular
2 weeks,
basis.
2 weeks in a row without any interruptions. Yeah, it's really good. And yourself,
Good.
are you all right?
Yeah. Just coming to the end of a busy week, but ready for a busy weekend as well. So you know me, I don't like to stop.
No, always on the go, mate. Yeah. How are things going with the High Vis Festival?
Hi, Viz. Well, this year's hip hop's 50th anniversary. So we've
Yeah.
decided to do a lot of little events, working with local bars, local establishments and partners that we've built up over the last 6 years of the Graffiti Festival being a thing. We're just about to live launch a new website that shows people in and out of Birmingham all of the murals that we've created over the last 2 or 3 years, bit of an art trail.
Yeah.
But again, it's an extra part of my life on top of the teaching and the editing of Comic Con. But I wouldn't have it any other way. So yeah, it brings me a lot of joy. And this year we're teaming up some really big partners in Birmingham to bring High Vis on the road. Oh, cheers for that.
There we go.
Yeah. So people can follow High Street Culture Festival online, usual places. Instagram is where we put most of our stuff, but Facebook for the announcements, and we're going to be having plenty of announcements over the next few months, and big announcements working with, as I said, big brands, independent brands in Birmingham, like Moseley Jazz and Funk Festival, and a few others I can't talk about at the moment.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, that Moseley Festival usually happens around the same time, doesn't it?
It happens in July, and the last few years we've been invited down. This year we're really pulling out all the stops and being given a big portion of the festival to run a mini festival. So we're just finalising details. We're starting an art competition, a knockout art competition called Anti-Coronation Street Art Competition. Because we figured that by the time the coronation comes along, there's not going to be as many people into street art who are going to be bothered watching some fucker getting a crown put on his head whilst everyone else is starving. So we're putting on an alternative. And again, we are yet to confirm a venue, but if people are interested in street art, watch this space and follow High Vis Festival. But thanks for that, Shane, and thanks for allowing me to talk about how much we're doing this year.
No worries,
about
mate.
me, as they say.
Indeed, we have a lot of guests on tonight.
Yeah, man.
And as you might have realised when Sam flashed that little screen, it is the guys returning from Technofreak. Now, if those who are not aware, Technofreak is the invention of creator John Charles, and he has an amazing team of writers, artists, and just really creative people who can do lots and lots of stuff, not just 2D. We've got some 3D stuff as well. Those who tuned in last time when Technofreak were on may remember some of these guests, but we've got some new guests as well that haven't been on the show before. So it's really good to welcome the Technofreak
new
guest
back. New guest. Don't oversell it.
Well, yeah. Well, I was trying to get away with it. So, Sam, before we go, can we play the video, please? And we'll get on with the show. And welcome back to the Icecast Live, and welcome to the Technofreak rabble. How are you guys?
We're all right, thank you.
Right, excellent. So, we have got an echo. Who's not got the headphones? There's a big echo going on there. Can we try with headphones? Because we've got quite a prominent echo. It always happens when you've got more than one person on the show. as soon as you start speaking, you know your speech gets picked up by somebody's speakers, and it gets played right back at you. So headphones are a really handy way of getting rid of that problem.
So am I doing echo?
I can't hear one now.
No.
There's no echo now.
No, that seems okay. So it's one of those mysteries, isn't it? Oh, we've got a comment already. Matthew Ward, all aboard the hype train. Choo choo. Thank you, Matthew. Yes, we are going to. There is going to be hype, because there always is with these guys, but they do it in such a charming way. You know, we don't mind. So, guys, John, I'll come to you first, because because you're the sort of brain behind Technofreak, I guess.
Well, it's written by me and Barry May.
Barry isn't here.
No, he's not. He's shy.
Is that what it is? He's shy. Yeah. Oh, okay, we'll let him off. So, just to introduce it to viewers who might not be familiar with Technofreak, what's the concept? What's it about?
It's set 1,000 years in the future, in a sort of future London, which is kind of a retro future. It's almost like the 1930s. John Sherlock's got a computer sort of wrapped around his brain and joined into his brain, and it's driving him slowly insane. He's the last of a program to create these techno freaks. Well, he claims to be the last, but he's not. It's the poor guy's suffering, and he needs to get away from his head. So, and he's basically supposed to be a private detective, but he's never done a day's work in his life. So it's kind of strange. And he's got a team of friends and a girlfriend called Loretta, who also used to go out with his mate Neville, who's a bit of a thug. So it's complicated. There's a bit of a love triangle in there already. So,
yeah, sounds cool. And obviously, there's going to be a lot of people already converted watching, but it's always good to recap for the newbies. And
I didn't mention the robot cat, Maurice. Everybody loves Maurice. He's a robot cat, and he's very sarcastic.
And you're actually launching a Kickstarter at the moment for the Technofreak graphic novel. Is that right?
Yeah, it's in association with Puppet Theatre. Thomas Cowling's here. He's actually running the show on the Kickstarter, and he's running the printing of the thing. But we're teamed up on it, basically. It's a combination of Puppet Theatre and Sunday Lunch Comics.
Okay.
We're going to have them, we're hoping to print in the UK and Australia, but it may just be Australia. We're not sure yet. But Thomas has worked out a way of getting them here so we can deliver the UK editions with UK postage rates.
Oh,
so that's all good. Yeah.
Does that explain why Thomas is one of the only one of us in just a t-shirt?
That's it. Scorching down here at 7 a.m.
We're all envious.
Yeah. He's in a radically different time zone to us. He thinks he's in the future.
I am, technically.
It's the next day. That freaks me out, man.
That is, it's weird.
Nothing exciting happens overnight, don't worry.
But at least he's not upside down.
So, Thomas, you're the man running the campaign. How's it going? How's the campaign going?
Yeah, it's going good so far. I'm really pleased with how it's picked up. I think it's got a lot of potential to go further. I think it definitely deserves to go a lot further. It's a really cool book. They've put so much work into it. Heaps, 174 pages, and that includes about 6 short stories that have never been printed before.
Oh, right, cool. So it's not just a collection of the previous comics. Then there's original material in there as well.
Correct.
There's a story written by Mike Carey as well, and he's also written the foreword to the book.
Oh, that's nice. Mike's a great writer. Yeah,
exactly.
People who don't know who Mike Carey is might know him from The Girl with All the Gifts, which was turned into a film a few years ago.
Was indeed. I really like that film, actually.
Great novel.
Yeah, but Mike's a great guy. He's been guest at ICE a few times, and he's always really generous with his time. So it's 170 pages, you say?
170.
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. And Sam, are we able to play the video so that people can see the trailer there? Let's see if we can watch this trailer. Oh. Excellent stuff, guys. I understand, John, that that's your music in the
It is,
trailer
yes.
as well.
I played the
Wow.
guitar on that. It's I've got an effects unit. It's got a kind of weird guitar effect on. I was quite proud of it. It's a song called "Welcome to the Future," which is on
Very
SoundCloud
apt.
under my name. If you want to see it.
There you go. Nice little plug. Yeah, that's a pretty apt title for the song as well. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
we've got some beautiful art on display there. So who's the main artist on this? Is it a mixture of artists, or have we got just one artist?
And we've got the 4 main issues of Technofreak, which are all drawn by Tom Newell. But there is one section in there by Mike Walters, who's here tonight.
Yes.
And Mike's doing a new strip for us, which hopefully we'll come on to later. I'll mention it in a bit when I'm doing my slideshow. Because we're not just promoting the comic, we're actually doing more work now on a Technofreak anthology, which will be a lot of new stories featuring the characters in sort of 5 and 6 page episodes.
Wow.
There are some very big names involved actually, who I can't really mention until they're definitely on board.
Come on. You can't let us know in advance. That's a shame.
It's a shame, isn't it? But some of them have worked for 2000 AD.
Okay.
As has Mike Walters, for that matter.
Yeah,
and Tom
congratulations, Mike, on the win
Yeah,
last
well
year
done,
at
Mike.
Thor.
Yeah, cheers.
I mean, that's a pretty that's a pretty competitive competition, isn't it, Mike?
Yeah, it is.
It was terrifying. It still hasn't sunk in, to be honest. It's out in 3 weeks now.
Wow.
So it's out pretty soon. And yeah, there's still a thing in my head where someone's going to review it and they say, "Oh, he's shit," and that's that. I'll never work for them again. But
you've got the old imposter syndrome there that every artist has. I think.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not alone in that. I mean, I talk to really big names, and they still think that they're getting away with it. So don't listen to that inner doubt. It's nonsense.
Yeah.
All I am is in a doubt.
It's my middle name. So we've got another comment here from Sophie Good. Technofreak is going for world domination. Today, Australia. Tomorrow, Antarctica. Thank you, Sophie.
Are there many people in Antarctica?
Well, they all like Technofreak, whoever they are.
That's good. I suppose there are some people there on Ice Station Zebra or something.
Maybe it's got a big cat population, John, that likes Morris.
Yeah.
I just want to see the Antarctica Comic-Con now.
It's going to be a big cold haul, isn't it?
It's just a giant igloo.
So the campaign's doing really well. What can people expect from the campaign? What are the main prizes? It's not really prizes, is it? Rewards. I mean, obviously you'll get copies of the book, digital versions, I presume. But any extra goodies that people should know about? John, do you want to? Oh, actually,
I think
Thomas.
that's a question for Thomas.
That's a Thomas question.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. I'd have John could have too. He's had a hand in almost all of it, so it's not a problem. We've got a nice set of A4 prints, which are really cool.
Nice.
That's definitely would be my pick. And there is a original commission from John himself.
Yeah. There's also a poster from Andrew Sawyers.
Yeah,
who
he's got
very kindly
the
contributed.
A3 poster. Yeah.
Andrew Sawyers is an amazing talent. He works for the 77 a lot, and his stuff's just incredible.
He is a singular artist, definitely. Yeah.
And that was drawn live on Facebook, which was another event. Very cool.
That's a cool idea.
Probably go back and find it somewhere. Yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah. Oh well, definitely should look for that. That sounds like that's a really good way of sort of getting people on board, isn't it, for your project?
And there are the prints now.
Ah, yeah, they're nice. Yeah, that looks good. And who's this artist? Who are these artists on these prints then? Sorry.
First one's Lyndon Webb.
I was
Second
gonna say
one's
it looked like
Dave Wilton. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But I
Lyndon
like
Webb.
the variety in the art styles that you've brought on board for these prints.
Yeah, I think it's a really nice set of prints.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. It's really nice and varied. Oh, there's some pencils there as well. Cool. And in the book itself, are there like sort of behind the scenes stuff, like extras and things like that?
There is a feature page in there, yeah, or several pages about the genesis of Technofreak. Yeah.
I'm always a sucker for a bit of back matter, you know.
I like it too. I think that's really nice when people do that, and we
just adds a bit to it, doesn't it? More, you know, than just because you get, especially if it is just a collection of comics. I mean, obviously, you guys have put extra stuff in there anyway, extra material, but it's really nice when you do have a little bit of extra sort of back matter, whether it's text or some pencils or something like that. I always really appreciate that.
There's some one-page strips in there by students. I used to teach at Stabs University, which is where I met Tom Newell and Mike.
Oh, that's cool.
And so at one point we did a sort of almost a competition with the students to be part of the Technofreak project. Not many of them entered, but those that did put their heart and soul into it. And
yeah,
some of that stuff's in there. There's one more story that's not included, which will be in the upcoming anthology by a student called Clara de Rombers, I believe.
Cool.
So that already exists. That's the first story for the anthology, which will be down the line.
And the ones that aren't included have just had their souls crushed. Yeah. That's okay. Comics, that's what comics is about, isn't it? Crushing people's dreams. So I'm joking, of course. So Antonio, you've been very quiet there, beavering away. Now I understand that you have got an update for us on your 3D contribution to this franchise called Technofreak.
Yes. So
and you're going to show it to us tonight.
Yeah. So I'm also one of the artists. So I did a 6-page story, and then I did a 1-page story for I don't know, John. It was number 3.
Yeah, it's on the back of issue 3. It's in the graphic novel. Yeah. And
cool.
And also I had this idea because if I do sculpting, 3D sculpting and stuff, and then I said to John that it would be cool to sculpt, all the characters. I have this one. John, I think John has a Maurice with him.
I've got a Maurice. I don't know if I'm on camera at the moment because I can't see myself at the moment.
I think it's me. I don't know.
It's just Antonio, yeah.
So I've painted it. I painted but I want to create a new one with more detail. With a resin one will be much more detailed because the model that I've sculpted has more detail, but the printer that I have, so plastic, so it doesn't give, as much detail as I wanted. But it's pretty cool. It's I think it came out really nice, and this is kind of an analogy to John's head, a robotic head. And I'm not going to tell what happens in the comic, otherwise it's not fun. Cool. But so it was cool to do it, and actually this jacket that I created based on one that was in the comic. After I made this, Tom actually used it always this jacket instead of the previous one. It was funny. I think it was one of our shows before, wasn't it? That he said that he could use it. I don't know. Something like that.
It is a great design. Antonio is very talented.
Oh, I love it. And
just
out of interest, Antonio, how much does it cost to create like a prototype like that? Is it quite an expensive process?
In terms of hours or in terms of material?
Well, yeah, in both, I guess, because it takes time and obviously. Material is not very expensive. It probably, in terms of plastics, I don't know, 5 pounds.
Right.
Printing. Then you have electricity, of course, during like a few hours. That's going to cost a bit more.
Yeah.
But I think probably in terms of cost painting, and because if I die cast it will be cheaper, right? But I don't know, around 30 quid, around that.
Really, that cheap? That's amazing. I mean,
We,
because you've got
we'll sell them for 300.
Yeah, well, of course, yeah. Obviously, I understand that. You don't really want to give away the price, do you, when you're selling it?
But of course, then hours of the hours of sculpting it and correcting it, and that takes at least 2 or 3 days.
Yeah. So you've got to
then,
calculate that in, haven't you?
Yeah.
But it's a quality item.
For example, sorry.
It's a quality item, though. It's a really nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Actually, that was beautiful. Well, I'm being pedant, but sorry, not. I don't mean by that. It's beautiful because I do love to see the character on 3D. We are used normally to see Captain Americas and Hulks and so on and so on.
Yeah.
And then I said to John, it will be really cool because the universe, I think the characters have a lot to give. And I said to John, well, let me just I'll try out doing the sculpting and see what comes out. And actually, the pose is quite heroic, but I see John as a quite heroic character. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's heroic, not erotic. Yeah.
No, heroic, not erotic. No.
Well, I'm sure John has his moments.
I'm not really sure about that. Both ways, right? But no, but I think the character has a lot of potential, and so I thought it was because I met John in a actually on a thought bubble years ago, and we actually didn't know that we were from Guildford, both of us actually, and
I knew I was from
funny.
Guildford.
And then sorry,
I said I knew I was from Guildford.
Yeah,
so
but I didn't.
Will there be a Technofreak stand at Thought Bubble this year, or do we not know?
Not. No, we didn't apply this year. It's a long way to go.
Yeah,
we went when? What was after COVID, or was before COVID, John?
I think it was before.
I think it was before. Yeah. So and then yes. So I hope I'll be there this year, but not under the
not with the table
label.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, a lot of people. I mean, I think I saw the press release from Thought Bubble. I think there were like 800 applicants or something daft like that. For I don't know how many.
It's very difficult to get a place, but anyway, yeah.
It is.
I want to try because I love, even if I don't get it at a table, I love that festival. I think I've been around other festivals in the world, and I think Thought Bubble it's really great, and it's for the artists and for the people, for the fans.
Yeah. I mean, and the great thing about it is all comics. There isn't anything else. It's all about the comics, which is a rare thing these days, and it's getting rarer and rarer. So,
comics and Mondo prints.
That's it. Yeah. Christoph, thank you very much for your comment. Whoa, the model looks great.
It really does look great. And if you're saying, Antonio, there's going to be a more detailed one coming out in the near future, that's a lovely taste of what to expect.
If anyone wants one, you guys can contact John or me. So the next model, I'm going to sculpt a bust of John, and hopefully. So you'll have like a model much bigger than this one in terms of detail of the face and all the props that goes in his head. So I think will be really cool. So yeah, basically, it's I've been doing both things. I do because I'm a character designer, so I do comics more now for fun than for professionally. But
and will it be offered on one of the Kickstarters, the model, or is it just going to be a separate offering?
Separate at this stage, I think. Unfortunately, we thought it would be a bit too difficult to put into a campaign until it was sort of a solid product. We thought about do we sell the files, but then if you sell the file for the print, then that's out there in the world.
Yeah,
exactly.
So it was actually a really difficult thing to judge, which is a shame because it is very cool.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is
And
really, really cool.
Seeing it again live, coloured, it's really, really nice. I definitely want one.
Yeah,
Thomas, it will look
Yeah.
much better, mate. Believe me, when I
100%.
print it like properly in 4K, it will look much better.
That's on my wish list for sure.
we've had another
I'll
comment
send it
from
to you. Give me your
Andy.
address, and I'll send one to you.
Done.
I love it when people like just do their business on the show. It's great.
Yeah.
Andy, thank you for your comment. Hey guys, I'm a fan of Technofreak. I bought all 4 issues last year. A highly recommended series. Morris the cat is my favourite character. There you go.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you, Andy. Now we do have a little PowerPoint of sort of a preview.
PowerPoint time!
Yay! Should be a little fanfare, shouldn't there? So we've got a few pages, I believe, from the graphic novel that John is going to share with us, so we can preview it. Have you got?
Let me know when I'm on because I can't see myself.
Let's have a look.
We're all on screen at the moment, John.
Okay.
Yeah, we're all on screen.
We're all
I'm
on
just waiting
screen
for
at the moment.
I'm waiting for it to be shared, and then I'll bring it on.
Oh, that's I can't do
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Hang on, I'm not sharing it. I knew we should have done this another way.
It worked earlier.
Yes, I know it did.
It'll work again. And
It'll
whilst
work again.
you're just doing that, John, I will say, I remember saying this last time, but the artwork does remind me of very young Patrick Gleeson in terms of that particular style. So it is a lovely artwork, a mix between Patrick Gleeson and a little bit of old school image as well. And the one page we saw where we've got 3 images of like guns being shot. I love that. That's a money shot if I've not seen one before. Right,
Well,
PowerPoint time.
Here we go.
And there. So this is the cover for the graphic novel.
Nice.
I drew it, and my friend Ian Peterson inked it, and he actually completely redrew my Loretta, which I didn't mind because I'm very generous. Some of it's nicked from Tom Newell because his stuff's so brilliant. I just copied it. But there we are. I'm a naughty boy. Okay, moving on. Just a little. This is Ian's inks. So if you go back, I think you can go back, see the full colour thing by me.
Yeah.
I just thought I'd show the process a bit.
That's cool.
This is the Andrew Sawyer's pin-up page.
Oh, that's
which is
nice.
Going out as an A3 poster as a reward on the Kickstarter.
Cool.
It is nice, and Andrew's done that for us for nothing, and I owe him big style.
He's so generous, isn't he? I remember on my birthday last year, I think it was last year or the year before, the time goes by so quickly, he did me a RoboCop sketch, and it's absolutely, I've got it on my wall downstairs, absolutely awesome. You know, he's a very generous guy, really, you know, one of the good guys without a doubt.
I met him down at Lawless. He's a really nice guy. I like him a lot, and I mean to do that for us for nothing. There's a lot of work gone into that.
You can
It's an amazing piece of Technofreak art. And it's lovely to see the character coming to life from other artists. You know, even artists have not even asked to do Technofreak. They want to do him because they love the characters, you know. So
yeah, that's always nice, isn't it, to see another artist's version? And this is
there's Lyndon's one, which you've seen already, I think, which is one of the posters.
It's fantastic.
To be honest, Technofreak doesn't usually carry guns, but he looks good with them, so you might do in the future. This is a page from Technofreak 4, I think, by Tom Newell.
Cool.
So I'm just showing a few of the pages that are in the graphic novel. A very few.
That's a nice splash page. That I did like the layout of that. Yeah,
it's cool.
Nice design. Really good design.
I used to be a graphic designer, so I've got an excuse.
Used to be.
You don't used to be, John. You still are.
Yeah, you never lose the skill, do you?
No, I guess not. But I like to think I'm a comic artist these days. And
you have to provide layouts then, John, with something as personal as this project, or is it very much?
No, Tom does what he likes. You can't control Tom. In fact, I don't remember it. I mean, that page is so unique, you know, because you've got the one panel in a box. I must have prescribed it somehow, but I can't remember doing so.
Right. It just works really well.
Thank you. Nice colours, I think, as well, by me.
Lovely colouring as well, yeah. I was just thinking that.
So this is another action page from Technofreak 4.
I love this page.
Wow. You can certainly see the artwork progressing and changing from the bits we saw to this one. This really does remind me of Patrick Gleeson at this point. And I mean contemporary to today Amazing Spider-Man, Patrick Gleason. That's lovely stuff. I love the strong outline around the hair. Again, that makes it stand out, as well as the pop of orange. Wow. Yeah, stunning layouts there.
It's good, isn't it? That may have been coloured by a student called Tate. I can't remember if I coloured that one or not. I suspect I didn't. Tate's an amazing talent. Again, Staffordshire University connection.
Yeah.
So if Adrian Tooth's watching, he's probably not, because I think he's in Iceland, not the shop.
He's getting some pies.
Thanks, Adrian, for all your students, because we just nick them. There's the cover from Technofreak 4.
Oh, that's cool.
There was an extra writer on this one, someone called Jack McCabe.
But that's your drawing or not, John? I don't know.
That's Tom's drawing, and I coloured it.
Oh, Tom's. Okay, sorry.
And the Union Jack was suggested by one of our viewers called Sophie Good.
Right.
She's a big fan of Union Jacks. This is Antonio's from the.
Lovely.
That's
it was
nice.
Originally in the 77 annual.
Yeah.
And represented in the graphic novel.
I remember it now from the because I got that annual.
Yeah,
that's
you have
really
to think.
nice.
Again, I love the perspective of that. It draws you straight in, doesn't it?
It's amazing. It was a shame to put the lettering all over it, really, because those buildings in the background are just incredible.
Nicely placed, though, the lettering. It's really good.
Yeah.
Goes around.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a good page, that. We've had a comment from Ed Doyle. Hi, everyone. Looking forward to getting your Technofreak strip, John, for the 140-page Bolt 01 annual.
It's on its way.
This is the tribute annual, I'm assuming, to celebrate Bolt 1's life.
Yeah.
If you'll allow me to share my Photoshop screen in a minute, I can show you one page from that.
Cool.
That'd be lovely.
It's in production as well. It's not quite finished, but
I mean, it's
so
a
this
great
is another
book.
Antonio page.
It's a great book that Ed's putting together there, by the way, folks, for Bolt 1. If you've not heard about it yet, do check out Ed, if you want to put a comment with a link, that's totally cool. I will share that for you. So please do if you want to. Sorry, carry on, John.
This is a pin-up by my friend Ian Peterson. I've known for a long time. I used to live in Leicester, and so did he, but neither of us does anymore.
That's one of my favourites, this one. I love that.
Yeah.
I love the pin-up. Yeah.
These are character designs he did for a short story featuring a guy called Ziggly Stardust. Who might
I wonder which one's Ziggly Stardust out of the two of them.
Yeah.
I've never really liked David Bowie, you know. So.
You can't say that on this show. You know that.
I absolutely love David Bowie. That's why he's in it.
I think he's doing his best Morris impression then, Shane.
Yeah, definitely.
This page is a rough by me. I was going to actually draw a Technofreak story, but it's now being drawn by the mighty Tom Newell, as is evidenced by this, which frankly I think is better than my version. It's interesting how he's changed the angle.
Yeah, I mean, for the same script, two totally different approaches. I really like it.
Two visions. Yeah.
I really enjoyed the colouring on this one. I only did this the other day, and it's in a sense it's basically black and white, but you've got the red and the yellow for the hair.
Yeah, it's really nice. I really like that colouring. It's nice and subtle.
Thank you. I wanted a more mature feel, despite the kind of cartoony artwork. So here's a page by Mike Walters. This is for the upcoming anthology.
Lovely.
So that's
nice.
If you look at that, that's the Hunt for John Sherlock Part 2, and this is the Hunt for John Sherlock Part 1. I've actually written a Part 3, so it's going to be a 15-page story in all.
That's nice work there, Mike.
Thank you.
I like that. That's really cool. And did you colour that as well, John?
I did, yes. I do like doing colouring.
You do, don't you?
I've done a lot of colouring in the last week, actually.
Do you know, I think we should do a Technofreak colouring book. And then John will have nothing to
do. Take some weight off my shoulders. That's fine by me. This is another page by Tom from the Hunt for John Sherlock Part 2. I just thought I'd show it because it's epic. I just love that monster.
That is a cool monster. Yeah, I like that.
And then that's the end of my presentation. Can I just share my Photoshop screen with you?
Go for it. Go for it.
I might have to stop sharing and reshare, I think.
Yeah, we don't want you to. We don't want to see your porn. Just your art.
Actually, let me just get Photoshop up and then we'll go.
Thanks, Ed, for that. So yeah, if anyone wants to check out the Bolt 1 anthology, Check out the Sentinel Comic Facebook page for updates. Cheers, Ed.
I hope there isn't actually one of my photos. That's not going to be good. Sorry about that. Ruining the show, and I'm supposed to be okay.
Well, I'll ask Mike about his upcoming signing then that I saw briefly pop up on my Facebook feed. Is this to coincide with your 2000 AD gig in a few weeks' time, Mike?
Yeah, so it's actually the writer that organised it. He popped up on Instagram. We've just been chatting back and forth. I mean, I got in contact with him initially because I was itching to find out what the story was, and I wanted to just get going on it.
Cool.
It felt like forever to
Thanks,
actually
Sam.
get this strip, but yeah. So it's on the day that it gets released. He just organised it with Forbidden Planet in Manchester. So
Brilliant.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, I hope people turn up.
I'm sure they will.
It's a
Mike, you're
popular
going to be a
store,
star.
Forbidden Planet.
Worry not.
We'll see.
So this page is, but I presume you can see this black and
I'm
white
going to
page.
add it now, John. Just give me a tick.
Sorry.
There you go. There you go.
There we
So
go.
this is by Mike as well. So we're
Oh,
in the
yeah.
Mike Walters section of the show at the moment. This is page 2 of the Hunt for John Sherlock Part 1,
Cool.
which they will ultimately meet some parodies of some EastEnders characters and stuff. It's going to be a lot of
Of
fun.
course.
And
I only sent that like an hour ago. No, about 3 hours ago.
Wow.
did you?
Yeah,
Oh, you
that's-
sent it. I thought, yeah, sorry, I'm with you.
Hot off the press.
Yeah,
Here's,
exactly.
here's a work in
Exclusive.
progress, which is for the Bolt 1 anthology. That's drawn by me.
Wow. I
That's
love
awesome.
that.
I like that. Yeah.
And you've got Bolt 1 himself in the bottom right hand corner.
Oh, yeah.
And
Excellent,
some
yeah.
I may have nicked those Space Gods from Jack Kirby, but don't tell Marvel Comics. And here's the colour in progress. I'm
Right.
still working on this, which is why I can't show you the finished thing because it doesn't even exist yet.
That's cool, man. I
I
love the
was
Kirby.
very
Nice idea, though.
I just love anything that resembles Kirby. To be honest, it's just
Me
Yeah,
too. He's a real favourite of mine. When I was growing up, I was a big Neil Adams fan, and I still am. But I was never that keen on Kirby, but I just adore his stuff now. The man was so creative; it's untrue.
yeah. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? It's.
I think
it's
when you're a
just
kid,
crazy.
you don't really appreciate these because they're so out there and very different to what you see as a child. I think it does take a while. There's certain artists that even as a teenager reading 2000 AD, I absolutely hated. But as I'm getting older, I think, wow, what did I miss? And I think it's that lack of experience of art. Really.
Yeah, you do, don't you? I mean, your tastes change, your appreciation changes.
Yeah.
Because you understand what they're doing on the page.
Yes,
You know,
exactly.
You appreciate the storytelling more. You
Yeah.
appreciate, what's actually gone into creating the book, and it's inevitable that your tastes are going to change as well. I mean, I remember way back when I used to read comics as a kid. I used to really hate a lot of the old classic stuff.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But now, oh my god, I love it.
Gil Kane is a good example of that.
Oh.
Someone I couldn't get my head around on Action Comics in the mid-'80s.
Hmm.
But then only a few years later, I got it. And when I saw his Spider-Man stuff, I really got it.
Oh, yeah.
Gil Kane was a master of anatomy.
He really was.
Really knew what he was doing.
But
The
as a
thing
kid, I think having seen Kurt Swan on Superman for so long, I think it was a bit... You're a bit jolted by what the bloody hell's going on here.
Yeah. I
Well,
mean, Gil Kane as well. He was one of those rare artists that he didn't just know anatomy; he knew how to break the rules with anatomy. He had his own way of doing it, didn't he? And he got away with it because he had such a strong style and such a
You
strong.
should check out some of his old Green Lantern covers. They're just
Yes.
astonishing pieces.
Yeah.
I make it my business to buy those as often as I can when I can afford it. I own quite a lot of those, and I buy them just for those covers. Those Gil Kane covers. And I remember buying all the old Iron Fist stuff because there was a lot of Gil
Yeah,
Kane.
enough about your sex life, Shane.
Sorry, guys. So let's open it up a bit. You know, what did you guys read when you were kids? Thomas, what were your early comics that you read?
Yeah, I was always Image Comics guy, sort of indie books. I've never really got into much Marvel and DC sort of things.
Okay.
I try a couple now. I liked Silver Surfer Black recently was good. I really enjoyed that. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Tom King and Chip Zdarsky. So I read the Supergirl. The new Supergirl was good. The little mini series they made. When I was younger, I was always Walking Dead, Saga, Preacher.
Making me feel so old now.
All the good ones. Yeah.
That stuff seems really recent to me, but obviously, you know, but it's not, is it? It's like Walking Dead. Yeah, I mean, when did that start?
No, The Walking Dead started over a decade ago, Shane. It goes back. Invincible is celebrating 20 fucking years.
20 years of Invincible.
20 years. That's
I only
mad.
just read that. That was a new book
comic
for me. Yeah, fantastic.
I am a fan myself.
Do you know what? It's a new book for a lot of people since the cartoon.
Yeah, no, that was excellent.
I'm not gonna. I have a few comics that influenced me, so I do. I'm also an Invincible fan. I'm sorry, guys. I don't want to interrupt you.
Well, no, but Antonio, you would have been brought up. You'd have been brought up with a lot of European influences, wouldn't you? I suspect.
Well, from my background is totally different from you guys. So
yeah. We read Milo Manara over here as well.
Well,
I've got books of Scotch.
Milo. I actually met him, but no, but for me, it's more. I love the Franco-Belgian comic. I grew up with it because of. When I grew up in Portugal, so the comics were like more Portuguese, French, and Belgium. It was like we had American, of course, we had like tons of American, but the strongest ones was like Tintin or Tintin, right? Yeah. And Asterix, and then Fresato. I don't know if you guys know Fresato. It was an Italian comics. That's why I'm talking about Milo Manara, but but not only one. He also. But I grew up mainly with a lot of the new wave of artists. Like for example, Alberto Varanda is amazing. He's a Portuguese French artist. So he's Portuguese, but he grew up there. Since he was 5. He's very. Another one that I know a lot of artists. I've been over the years because I was also directing a convention in Portugal, so I met a lot of artists internationally. Right. And then I moved to the UK and I stopped that. But then I met John and I started to go back into comics and stuff like that. But my background. But I also have I'm a fan of Invincible. I'm a fan of. I had Battle Chasers from John Mother. I loved it when the 90s. Did
that ever finish? Did that ever get finished?
Because they've got a Battle Chasers. We just
it's actually launching the new numbers with Michael Lulabi. He's writing the comic, and Michael Lulabi is actually drawing it.
Cool.
Issue number 10.
I think this month it's coming out with number 10. I think that he's going to finish it finally.
Fantastic.
And my biggest influences are David Finch. Do you guys remember that?
I love David Finch.
Yeah. So Ascension and also John Mother, of course. Invincible for me was one of the best comics I've ever read in terms of superheroes, right? Because I got fed up a bit, Marvel and DC when Image came out. Like Thomas said, I just started to read basically not every time or all of it, but Image comics. I started to go more, out of the mainstream because in the Franco-Belgian world things are different. You go more, you follow more the author instead of they don't continue. So it's like an album as we call it, or 3 or 4, and then you just you follow the artist. And I had the pleasure in my life to meet a lot of the big artists. For example, Herman, the French one, that he drew Sarajevo. I don't know if you guys remember the Sarajevo War. So he draw the comic book about that, and comic book. No, the album is like 64 pages or something like that.
I remember that. Yeah,
and
really good.
And yeah, it was it's a different experience because at the time when I was growing up in Portugal, we are quite eclectic in terms of comics, right? So the European comics is one thing, the American comics is just for children, right? So it was not even some of the illuminated people there wouldn't even accept that, wouldn't mix American comics with our comics, right?
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's so
I suppose
format,
it's the more childish stuff, I guess, that got imported.
It would have been.
Yeah,
well, a lot of it was when you
adult.
compare with the storytelling in magazines like Heavy Metal or Metal Hurlong. If you look at some of the even the early Valerian stuff from the 60s, of course it's much more mature from the artwork right down to the panel layouts, to the story, the epics being told. I remember having this feeling when I used to go to Germany, Antonio, as a kid. And you would always get the feeling that the German comics would be printed. I remember Spider-Man was called the Spinner growing up. They even changed the name of some of these characters. And you're right, these are sort of things you would often see in an airport or in a train station. But if you went into bookshops, it was all the European stuff.
Yeah. In hardcovers.
Yeah.
Did you ever get into any? Did you ever get into any Mobius?
Oh yes.
That's as
Enki Bilal, Moebius, you name it. I have a huge collection of. Not here, but in my dad's house.
For me, that's as good as it gets.
Oh yeah,
Huge
an absolute
fan.
master.
But there is so many other ones that are. If you guys, I think it's the Guardians of the Mazer. It's one of the best things that I've ever read in my life, and also the art was from Fresato, an Italian author, and it's just really, 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 really cool. I think there's I don't know if I have it here, but at least they have like 5 tomes or 6, and it's about kind of all Holocaust that happened in the planet. It's not, I don't know, it's not the planet Earth, it's a parallel world, but it's really, really cool. And
it's a shame, isn't it, that more of that stuff hasn't been translated, so more people can't read it, especially the Italians.
No, but it is translated in English, because when for example, one tome would get out, like if the Portuguese would get out first in a comic shop, I would buy. I have actually the whole collection in different languages.
Oh, so right.
In English, and because Heavy Metal actually printed in English.
Yeah.
And then the French version, the original version, and then there was a Portuguese version that was a label called BD Mania, because we call it BD, the comics, like in French. So yeah, and I have, like, for example, number 1 I have in English, the second I think it's in French, because I can speak 5 languages, so I jump from. That's for me.
That's an eclectic comic collection then.
It was the number that would come out first, and I would buy it.
Yeah.
But it's really cool, and there's a lot of authors that are just amazing, and I would advise everyone, if they can, to go to Angoulême, the festival in France, the south of France. It's just
an amazing festival.
Amazing.
I've only ever heard good things.
Somebody's got to
about
visit
Angoulême.
it.
It's not mine.
It's not me receiving a text, honestly. Can I just make a point?
Yes, go.
Please back the Kickstarter.
Oh yes, yes, indeed, we will.
And another point, please buy 2000 AD in a few weeks' time, when Mike Walters is going to make his debut.
Yeah,
that issue's going to sell through the roof. They're going to have a sales spike.
Well, I'll certainly be picking it up.
So, Thomas, how did you get involved with Technofreak then? I think that's a question we haven't asked yet.
That's a good question. John contacted me and sold it to me before I'd even saw the book. He believed in it that much that I was already on board just reading his first email. And we were looking for a couple of complete creator-owned books that we can sell here. We got a couple of Comic-Cons coming up this year. Next one is in April in Melbourne. And so we wanted a couple more titles other than our own to sell and to stock. And, John contacted me, had this great 4-issue book ready to go. He had all the side stories to make it appealing. And so we went for it.
It's a real team up, to be honest. Thomas is publishing this one, but technically, but we're doing it in partnership. I see it as really.
Yeah.
And there's going to be an ISBN on the book, so in theory, further down the road, we might try and get it into Waterstones and stuff.
Oh, there's no reason why you can't. Once you've got the ISBN.
So will the graphic novel be sold at Melbourne Comic Con, or will it be the floppies?
No, it'll be just the graphic novel. Yeah.
So that's quite a quick turnaround then. I notice you've got 11 days left on the Kickstarter campaign now. So we're sure that this is all done and dusted now then. I know it always is with John. So there won't be many backers waiting too long to get their copies in the post, I'm assuming, John.
No,
we'll sort it out.
It's there, yeah.
Excellent.
I
do like.
And I get to do some original sketches for some of the backers as well, so they'll get completely unique works of art by me.
Yeah.
Cool.
Lucky boys.
And now people have seen your art style; they know what to expect.
Well, I did a sketch, and I did one for Thomas. Actually, Thomas commissioned that sketch. It's his. I've not sent it to him yet, but
nice.
It's been really nice to get to meet Thomas. He's very enthusiastic.
Now I will
John.
I will come to you, Mike, because we do need to ask you about what your sort of comics were that you
This is where we're going to feel really old, isn't it, Shane? Because Mike,
Mike's a young man.
10 years ago.
But I did just want to ask Thomas actually about the Australian comic industry a little bit. Sort of, what sort of size is it? Is there a big comic scene in Australia?
Yeah, it's a little slower than the UK. But it's okay. I mean, there's 1 or 2 comic shops in the big cities, definitely, that are big, not quite Forbidden Planet big, but decent. And all the Comic Cons are full, they're big, but there's only the 2, just Oz Comic Con and Supernova.
Oh, I remember when we just had 2 Comic Cons in the UK. It was wonderful.
So they don't have it. There's not many small shows or anything like that. So it's pretty much that's your focus. Yeah. But it's solid. It's good. We love it just as much. I mean, there used to be Australian prints, and there's the Phantoms, a classic Australian comic.
Why is that so famous in Australia? Is it because he lives in a jungle or what?
Yeah,
because I just can't see his appeal.
I don't know. I never got into it. It was a little bit old school for me, but people love it.
Really old school.
Yeah.
I mean, there's boxes of that, like boxes and boxes, and they'll go for, you can't give them away these days.
Right, okay.
So,
I know that. I've got a lot of Phantom stuff because I used to distribute for Moonstone Comics, and I used to sell the Phantom books, and they're not the easiest to sell, to be honest.
No,
but I really like them. I really enjoy them.
I remember when they made a movie, and that was huge.
Billy Zane.
Yeah, I used to love Phantom, but if you think about it, a guy in Africa dressed with all the suits, and
he's going to be hot, isn't he? He's going to be a bit sweaty.
I love the character. Don't get me wrong, I love it, but with that heat,
it's a hard sell now, though, isn't it? Like Tarzan, white savior in Africa saving everybody else.
That's the thing.
It's not very modern.
No,
it definitely doesn't translate well. No.
But they could use it. The style. They could modernize it a bit.
Of course, they could.
They did with Black Panther and stuff.
Of course, they could.
Yeah, I remember. I loved the animated series.
Are you talking about the one where all the sort of Kingfisher
really
characters came together?
It was really not Defenders of the Earth.
I love that.
I did.
Thomas might be. Thomas, did you remember this cartoon back in the 90s? Because I think you'd have been the right age. And it was basically Phantom, Flash Gordon, Mandrake the Magician, all these Kingfisher comic book characters, all brought into the modern era. I loved it. I loved it.
I loved it.
I thought it was a very clever concept. All these hokey old newspaper characters from the 30s.
Flash
and 40s.
Gordon was in it as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was cool.
And again, he's another guy who is always ready for a rebirth, Flash Gordon.
Yeah, the people have tried it, but it's not easy to translate again, is it?
It's a shame. It's a shame.
So
you can find it online. Actually.
Yeah. But I would just give a little mention to that Phantom 2040. It was a really cool animated series. It was a very odd style of art.
I'll have to look at it.
But it's really cool. The writing was excellent. So I will come to you now, Mike. I want to.
That's all
I
right.
want to find out. I want to find what you read when you were young. Well, you're still young. So what are you reading?
Well, I only started reading comics about 10 years ago, I think.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Oh, sorry, when I was 4 now. No, when I was 17 or so, just coming out of college.
Giving your age away, Mike.
I'll
That's
give
all
my
right.
age away
There's
all
nothing
day.
wrong
It's
with
fine.
being young.
Make you all feel
Don't
old.
give mine away, will you?
Make you all feel old. I'm 27.
Yay.
What's it? I forgot what I was saying now. But yeah, when I
About your
came-
introduction to comics, only 10
No,
years
no.
ago.
I figured it out in the end. What's it? When I started reading comics, the New 52 was just happening, and
Yeah.
so it was more or less around that time.
Oh, okay. Did you read the New 52, I take it?
Only really Batman, but
That was great.
purely because of Greg Capullo, who I'm basically obsessed with. He is, I mean, maybe not so much now, but he's one of my favorite artists still to this day. I just think he brings so much to every character that he
Yeah, I
draws
loved his
and-
Batman and Spawn over
Yeah.
Christmas. That was
Good.
sheer unadulterated image love. That wasn't it?
It was good. Yeah.
Yeah,
That stuff he did with Scott Snyder there on Batman was just awesome. Yeah.
I think
Building
they.
stuff.
I think the best one they did was Death of the Family with the Joker. That one was fucking fantastic. Like,
You can't say fantastic, Mike.
why not? I can say what I
Why
want.
can't he say fantastic, John?
It was the other word he said that he can't say. Never mind.
Oh. It was blooming fantastic. No, but no, but yeah, since then I've been a bit all over the place. I mostly just follow artists, to be honest.
That's the way
really
to do it.
care.
If you like artists, you know, it's
It-
better to
it's
follow
one of them, I'm not-
creators than follow characters. I think.
Yeah, I did that with John Byrne and
Yeah.
George Perez back in the 80s. Anything John Byrne was writing and drawing, you just follow him. Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
Now we've got a comment from Joe
John
Catano.
Byrne's the man.
New 52 Batman was amazing. Joe's actually
Batwoman.
working on Technofreak material with me at the moment. He's another ex-Staffordshire University student.
Ah,
That's what they
right.
all
yeah,
come-
the Batwoman stuff was amazing.
Joe's been
Was that the
very
JH
helpful to me recently.
Was that the J.H. Williams one?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
yeah,
That was,
groundbreaking stuff, like it always is with J.H. Williams.
who wrote it? He didn't write it. Did he?
Oh, do you know what? I can't remember.
Was it? Oh, I know it was. Oh, the guy that always writes lesbians and everything he does. What's his name? He does... Greg Rucker. Greg Rucker. That's it. Yeah.
And
He
here we
likes
have
his-
Greg Rucker, the guy who writes lesbians and everything he does. I think
does
he's
like
called
lesbians.
Strong Female Characters.
That's it. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
it.
That's a
like
better way of putting it. Yeah.
Who happen to be lesbians. Yeah. But that's cool. That's cool. I mean, it was a great series. That I really enjoyed it, and she was a really good character. It was a really different.
A
take
good
on the-
introduction, I thought, definitely.
Yeah. I bought them all myself. It was a good.
I just think the suit, bizarrely enough, designed by Alex Ross. Again, that's a beautifully designed, simplistic suit, and that red and black just works really, really well. It's very hard to create a new bat suit, and I think Batwoman got it down.
It was a
perfectly.
really nice design.
And that's
I
why they
really
haven't
liked
pissed
it.
about with it since then.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the only suit. Even Batman's had about 3 or 4 different belts, but like her suit has stayed the same.
He likes going shopping. That's what it is.
Yeah, I want
Well,
a
he's
new
got
belt.
the money, hasn't he?
Yeah.
New Fendi
Alfred,
Oh,
go
that's
and
true.
buy me a new
Gucci.
belt.
My underpants keep falling down.
So, guys, we are sort of approaching the end of the hour now. We are approaching the end of that. That's gone really quick. Wow. So thank you to each and every one of you for coming onto the show. We will say one more time, big shout out to the Kickstarter on Technofreak. Make sure you go out there and pledge on it, folks. It looks like a fantastic graphic novel. It will be available, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, in the UK and Australia. Is it available in other countries as well?
Yeah, there's no limit. So, I mean, we'll post anything outside of the UK or Australia is international postage, but we're happy to do it anyway.
Yeah, great stuff. That's fantastic. Well, all the best with the Kickstarter, guys. I hope it's,
you.
you know,
11 days left. So if people
there's
want to
plenty
book
of time.
don't leave it till don't leave it to the last minute. We know how these Kickstarter. Everyone goes into the first few days, then they piss about, and ahhing, procrastinating, and then in the last 24 hours, I better back it.
Yeah, it's so stressful, you know.
Will you be doing an overprint of the first graphic novel just in case? I'm assuming on your side, Thomas, that's a yes, because you're going to Melbourne Comic Con. What about the UK market, John?
I'd love to print some in the UK. To be honest, we might have to run another Kickstarter to do that. Right. I'm actually penniless until tomorrow when I get paid. So
right, just thought I'd ask for any UK fans.
I can tell you.
And I think there will be a bit of overflow on both sides. Cool. Definitely, I'll make sure that John's got a good stock and people will be able
even if it just keeps him warm by burning the pages.
Exactly, it'll be useful for someone.
It's fucking cold over here, Tom.
It is cold. It is
and
cold.
The price of energy is ridiculous.
It's hot in here.
Well, thanks, guys. Thanks ever so much.
Thank you, everybody.
I'm sure we will see you again at some point in the future because we love having you guys on the show. It's always a good laugh. So all the best with the Kickstarter.
Lovely,
and we will see you again.
Goodbye, audience.